Hello, everyone. This is Scratch and Jack, and welcome to the Amazing Scale Modelers Sunday Hangouts. And Amazing Scale Modelers is a Google Plus and Facebook community of scale modelers, reaching all across all scale modeling genres, mediums, and to encourage friendships from around the world. Today, we hope that you will find it to be an important source of information about the hobby and hear about something new and see firsthand the scale modeling experience. Joining me today are the usual suspects to help me kill time and to commit all these other crimes that we commit doing modeling. And trust me, there's plenty of them. And if you want to join us on a live chat, it is open over at the Google, the Facebook. No, not Facebook. The YouTube. But if you're watching this, you're already on YouTube. You know there's a live chat open. So join us in a live chat. So bring all your questions, comments. Everybody is welcome today. And you will find the links to actually join us if you're on YouTube right now watching us. You can go to our community, join the community, and then you can find the link very much at the top of both the Facebook community, the Amazing Scale Modelers, as well as the Google Plus community. And just come on in and tell us what you're all about. We'll see what we can do. Anyway, this is the last week, and I'm going to be announcing the community builds that we've been doing this past year, only because the next Hangouts in 2 weeks are going to be in November. And I think we should be all happily modeling and getting our models completed for the Batman build that started in January, as well as the Stunt and Speed and the Street Muscle and Street Car. That will be kind of cars you see at car cruises during the summer. You know, the fancy schmancy ones during festivals. Something custom, something out of the box would be something you might want to build. And a Star Wars build, something that's more sophisticated. Not just simply out of the box, maybe perhaps adding some aftermarket, photo etch, electronics, animation, even put it into a diorama. And in the coming weeks on the community, I will be asking people to be posting pictures so that I can copy them, take them off the internet, and then put together a video celebrating everyone's builds and participation. So that will be, of course, extra videos, extra features, hopefully by the end of the year on the YouTube channel. And other than that, we are considering some new builds for next year. We've got a couple in mind already from suggestions from you and talking about it, you know, in social hangouts. That way, when we hang out together without being a broadcast, and we speak a little freer than I think. I think we swear more often. Maybe not like drunken soap. Anyway, moving on. Bob will be right back as he's telling me on his icon there. And so we're going to get started with Jim today. How you doing, Jim?
I'm doing fine there, Jack. Yeah, for those that didn't see yesterday on the Across the Pond, I finally finalized my SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket this week. So it got finally all finished off the legs and got it mounted. Let me just bring some pictures up. Application. Here.
Yeah, if I have to leave because of Geek Squad keying in, I'm getting my, I have it like a not 2 hour wait to get my computer geeked. So if I have to leave, I'll have to leave, but I don't suspect that's going to happen. I don't know for whatever reason. But I just thought I'd throw that out there to y'all watching. It might end shorter than usual because they said the repairs will probably take about 2 or 3 hours anyway.
Okay, so here's the image of the completed model.
Oh, very cool.
On the base.
Uh-huh.
And I did an applique for the SpaceX insignia onto the base as opposed to printing it on, because I didn't figure, well, I needed a white line. I figured it would show up better than printing it on the blue paper. So I did an applique on top. Actually, what I did was printed the the SpaceX insignia in scale for this base on a sheet of card, then carefully cut it out, and then use the card that I cut from as a template and clamped it in position where I wanted on the base, and then glued the pieces in place using the cutout as a template to hold it in position. And that put it in position, made it easy way to place it so it was placed in the right spot.
That's sweet.
So
I like that.
Legs in there. Like, as the supports for the legs as well as the hinge pins are actually they're 2mm styrene rod with the paper tube construction over top. So to give it strength. It's an upward view. Just a few views to give what it's like.
Is that a return with no payload, or is that coming?
It returns without a payload.
Yes, there you go, George. So George is joining us on the live chat. Join us. If you hear me tapping away, that's why. I'm chatting with everyone there.
No,
and that was his question.
Yeah, no, there's no, no, it does not return. It just returns the second stage. But when this comes down, the second stage in the payload is still in orbit going into position.
No, if it doesn't have a payload, just out of curiosity, so it's open at the top, correct?
Yeah.
How do you dust in there? I mean, because that is going to be literally a dust collector, you know?
Yeah, it's a little tall. I haven't quite found unless I find a tall candle bell or something to put over it. But I don't think it's really going to be that big an issue. But yeah, no, it just lands on its own. The second they have not yet been able. Well, at least that they've shown, at least the second stage, as it is right now, is not recoverable. So the second stage burns up in the atmosphere when they're done. They have experimented in recovering the covers for the payload, payload shroud. I've said they did one test of that, of recovering the shroud. So, but their plans are to definitely recover the shroud and the second stage at some point. So
that's sweet. I like those little veins up at the top. Those veins. You wouldn't think those would do much to orient anything, but someone I was watching a SpaceX landing once. Yeah. And they comment that those don't seem like they would be that good, but try just sticking your hand out the car window doing 60 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And feel how much force is on that. Now realize that this thing is coming in at over 1,000
miles an hour, and you figure out what the forces are on those paddles. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're full of
very
holes,
effective,
and yet it works really, really well.
Yeah. As well as they have some retro work too at the bottom. If you see it coming down, you'll see the retros firing at the bottom when it's coming down.
Yeah, you did find out what the weight capacity is
for the payload.
Yes, the payload.
Yeah, the payload for LEO low orbit is 50,000 pounds, and for geosynchronous orbit is 18,000 pounds.
So they use the same booster and they recover it the same way.
Yep.
Whether it says low orbit or goes further away.
Yep.
Well, you know by chance how far away geosynchronous is?
I think it's 32 miles. I think I'd have to look that up, but I think it's like 32 miles for Geo.
$13,000.
What?
The geosynchronous.
Geosynchronous. I think. Yeah, I think it's 32 miles for
32 miles.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like a lot.
No, it doesn't.
I'm thinking things like halfway to the moon or something, you know?
No, it's not that far.
That is really cool, though. I mean, like I was saying, they can't be rolled paper. They have to be dowel rods.
Yeah.
You are that good. You are that good, is my compliment.
No, they're rolled paper.
You say that like you need to be committed or something.
Yeah. So that's where we are with that.
George says he's working on a 69 Chevelle. He's put the Enterprise aside for now to do something a little simpler.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's that. And let's pop back over to Bob because he's back from his errand.
Okay.
How you doing, Bob? Love the mute button, don't you? You can have a one-sided conversation. They always sound agreeable.
I'm sorry. I was looking at the geosynchronous orbit thing. It's 42,164 kilometers, or 26,199 miles.
Oh, so it's not 32 miles.
No.
26,000 miles is pretty decent. Yeah, that's pretty decent.
For a geostationary orbit, yep.
Right.
Anyway.
Mark Dunmore had joined us on the live chat too. I gotta just set my cellular. Of course, you probably can hear. So what's going on there, Bob? What do you got going on?
Well, since yesterday, I've worked on the GTOs a little bit more. Here's the white one.
Oh yes.
Still just mocked up. I got to build the interior yet. But
which is this?
Here's the blue one.
Nice.
That's, oh gosh, that is so nice.
Let me pull up a screen share here. But between the two kits, I had a choice of 3 different hoods. So this is the stock hood I'm using.
Yeah.
I'm using this hood without that for the. There's our engines. One stock,
oh wow.
One not so stock.
Yeah. Cool.
This is the street one. That's how it's gonna sit on a. It's for a stance. It's gonna be right down on the ground. And then here's the blue one, the stock model. Which goes to the regular stock height. There's certain colors in here that my LED lighting just really messes with the camera.
That is so cool.
It's blue. It's not silver.
I gotta say, the GTO is the best car, best muscle car. It is considered one of the first ones, isn't it?
It was right in there. I mean, it wasn't really. They weren't really calling them muscle cars at the time, but it was a kind of an economy car. But yeah, they put the Tiger in your tank. It was designed to be a powerful car
Uh-huh.
right out of the box.
Uh-huh.
But Pontiac always was kind of the more horsepower focus of the GM brands. And I haven't even touched the day list since yesterday, so you can look at that again, I guess, too, I guess. Bit of it.
Ah, hi, Gearhead. Gearhead Workshop. How you doing? Ken Skiffington showed up too. The Master Scratch Builder. They're all just saying hello to each other right now. Ken says that he's scratch building a Borg tactical cube from Voyager.
Ooh. Okay.
I guess he's got a lot of sprues to work through.
Well, it'll be done in about 20
Literally, sprues. I'm sorry, what was that, Bob?
I said, knowing Ken, it'll be done in about 25 minutes.
Well, that's true. You just spread some glue down on your bench and then just sprinkle the sprues on top of it. You got it. Well, at least that'd be one side.
Anybody I know.
So what you working on, Gearhead? I'm guessing probably a car, but that's just me. Yeah, but that. Yeah. George says you do such great work on everything, particularly cars. I have to say, your car builds are like amazing. You've been doing them since a kid, is that right?
Talking to me?
Yeah.
Yeah, you.
I only build about one a year. This is a weird year. I built like 5 this year.
Oh, I get it. You pay someone to do it and you call it your own. No, that's something I would do.
I built airplanes.
Oh, yeah. You do a lot of airplanes. That's right. You've won a couple of awards already, too.
Yes, I did.
You did that, the Kingfisher one, that one that's flying up off the water.
And the duck. The duck was the one that won the award at the last show.
Was that the duck?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't know why I'm thinking Kingfisher, but
I have a Kingfisher one also.
oh, okay. And Gearhead, Gearhead, I'm sorry, I'm wrong. You're detailing a Batwing with weapons. I sure hope ANS isn't watching it. So anyway, yeah. So, but you haven't really done, you've done a lot of airplanes since a kid. Is what you're saying.
I got to do the 2 cars for the cancer awareness build just because. Do one street and one stock and have them side by side, and then the builds for amazing scale models this year, the Mach 5 and the GTX, but it was also a commission build. So that's 4 cars. More than I normally do.
What is that sound?
I don't know. I'll be back in a minute. I'm going to have to shut down for a second. I'll be right back.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, he was coming up next, so we didn't need to talk to him, did we? God. I'm sorry, I'm a little preoccupied right now. I'm working something here. I'm looking at a couple of Batman builds. Save image as, because Chuck Brooks on the community had posted some oh, I see what that sign was. That was a Geek Squad. Oh, great. Just right in the middle of the show. All right. Let's see. Chuck Brooks. Save. Got it. Y'all still there?
Yep.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we're all here.
All right. Since Jay had disappeared, you had something for us there today, James. What was that?
Oh, yeah. Well, I was going to say, I was into dealing with our change the concept of what things to help modelers with. And that one thing that I know for me is very important, and it's also a great learning experience too, is when you're building a model, whether it's a fantasy model or a real scale model, is to do your research before you even hit the plastic, paper, whatever media. Do your research. I mean, there's all kinds of materials. There's stuff online. Myself, I like to get the books if I can.
So you're saying that taking a close look at the box art isn't enough?
Yes. You have to see to find the source material. I mean, things like the Haynes Manual for the Falcon, very good resource. You know, for that, when you're doing scale stuff, like I've had this book for a while, but when I built the armor, I was using this resource on the history of the samurai, which gave a lot an education of what all the pieces actually were and what their functions were. So you learn a lot of little incidents in that and understand what exactly you're building. But I find that this is the part that makes it real interesting. And then, you know, with your aircraft, I mean, especially when you're talking like World War II subjects, you've got that whole 6-7 year period going on. I mean, what was happening in 39 as far as equipment and thing is different than what it was in 1945. So let's just take, for example, you know, probably what a lot of people are familiar with, and let's say the U.S. uniform. The U.S. military uniform in 1941, when they entered the war, their kit was pretty similar to what they used at the end of the First World War. You know, and then it eventually evolved, so you can't compare the kit at the end of the war compared to the kit at the beginning of the war. And the same with the British at our side. What kit we had at the beginning and what we had at the end is totally different. The weapons changed, vehicles changed, aircraft changed all through. So especially if you're building a diorama, it's important to know what period you're building the diorama on. So you need to research all that stuff. And even for the figures, like there's you can get the stock figures, but there's all kinds of places you can get for third-party items to update the figures to whatever period that you're using. At places like the 148 shop is one that comes into mind, that they sell all kinds of add-ons for your 135th and 148 figures for diorama use. So just trying to get the idea that there's all kinds of stuff out there. I mean, there's online sources, but don't rely totally on online sources. Sometimes you have to go out. Sometimes you have to go out and actually look. Like I've gone to, when I was building a dinosaur, I went to the Royal Ontario Museum in Toronto and actually took pictures of the Tyrannosaurus Rex that was there for reference to help me assemble and position that skeleton when I built it. It's the same thing. Like I've got a project in the future to probably do. It's a commemorative one for my great uncle who was a anti-tank gunner in the Second World War. There was no combination model kit. I can get the gun, but I didn't know what the vehicle was that they towed the gun with. I actually end up calling someone at the Royal Canadian Artillery in their museums group and find out what the actual vehicle that we used for that gun, and found out it was a Lloyd Carrier. So then I was able to go out and get the model for that Lloyd Carrier to match it up. So it's a matching set type thing. So you got to use all different sources. Don't be scared to call people to find out information if you don't have a question, because sometimes the stuff's not readily available for exactly what you're doing. So it's all kinds of things. You can find reproduction manuals for things. I've got one for a pilot's manual for a mosquito.
There'd be somebody I'd like to maybe ask more when it comes to research, and that would be Wayne. Now he comes on the Hangouts. He does all the tanks.
Yeah.
He's never really mentioned anything about research per se, but he does. He does go to armor shows. Apparently, he went to a tank show several months ago. I think it was earlier in the spring, and he took some video of these tanks, which are.
He went to the tank museum. Yeah.
And another thing about he likes to watch our locomotives, like steam locomotives.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's quite a few. I don't even know what they were called. Like, I read somewhere where there are two landmarks in the United States that actually move. One of them is the cable cars in San Francisco. Apparently, the cable cars in San Francisco are considered landmarks or historical marks or something of that nature. I would think that some of these steam locomotives will be similar. They're not used commercially, but they still operate under certain circumstances, special circumstances, anniversaries.
Certain ones have historical significance.
Significance.
So like the one he was showing was the Royal Scotsman, which was a very significant engine when in its prime type thing.
Yeah, and you too went to something in spring.
Well, I'm sort of involved with the Ontario Regiment's Tank Museum here.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so I get involved in that sometimes. So
I'm just starting to chuckle to myself because I can't say I've ever seen you. You did build a tank once, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I built the Fury. I built the Fury tank there last year.
And what kind of research to do that? I mean,
well, I did a bunch of research on that tank because the tank that was used in the movie was not an American tank; it was a Canadian tank. So the kit and the way that it's built and set up is different than the American Sherman. So I had to do some. Plus, I had to do some accuratizations to the original kit to accurize it to make it more accurate for the Sherman because they had glossed over. This is common with a lot of kits. Certain features they don't don't build properly or totally leave out. So you have to accurize these things yourself.
Right. Well, I would say if you are building for museum quality builds, certainly the research is necessary to do. I wonder, I'm just curious, how many hobbyists turned into, such
academics.
Circles. Well, you know what? For an example, when I was at the Air and Space Museum,
yes,
about a year and a half ago, there was a 100 scale CVN Enterprise, the aircraft carrier, and everything on it was scratch built, and it was absolutely amazing. I've taken pictures. But I would love to be able to take a look at it without it being behind glass, because the glass is, well, I know why they have it, because it keeps people's hands off of it.
Yeah.
But I would love to see something like that up close and take photographs of it. And not so much because it's the CVN Enterprise, even though that is one of that is one of the builds I do want to do is that, because it too went through different phases as well.
It's also to appreciate the modeler's skill in the building of the model.
Well, yeah, but from what you're saying, that from the time beginning of the war to the end of the war, the builds, the paint schemes, the markings, everything, some things about it change, and the CDN Enterprise is no different. It's been in service since the war. It's out of commission. They decommissioned it just recently, and it's going to be called into harbor very soon.
Yeah.
They're replacing it, I think, with another Enterprise, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
They're building that right now.
Yeah, it's being built now. Yeah.
Yeah. So the model, I think, at the Air and Space Museum, and forgive me if I'm mistaken, I think I read, and I didn't take a picture of its placard, but it was for, I think, Vietnam. I could be wrong. I think it could have been the
Vietnam era. Yeah.
Yes. I think it was built for the Vietnam era. And in fact, from what I do recall, all of the aircraft complement was visible on that model, whether it be on an elevator or on deck. And talk about the quality of building. These what do you call it? The F-15s.
Yeah.
I think they were used during the Vietnam era. I think. You know what? I'm not really. I'm kind of stupid when it comes to this stuff. I'll be the first to admit. So if I get it wrong, please correct me, because I could be wrong. But there was one that I showed a couple of weeks ago, an aircraft, because I was showing a channel, the Fine Scale Modelers channel,
mm-hmm.
which I did find a couple of channels. I forgot to write them down to share this week. The channels I think are worth a look. But the Fine Scale Modelers magazine channel on YouTube is really a good channel for new kits coming out and such. They give nice reviews too. Yeah. And they had this trainer, this prop airplane that was mostly a trainer for most of its use from beginning of World War II all the way through the Vietnam era. In fact, the model was retired in 1983.
Yeah.
I find that fascinating. And that particular plane, being that it's a model kit, you have dozens, if not hundreds, of iterations of what it is. It could be the trainer, it could have been in the actual reconnaissance plane that they used during Vietnam and the like.
That's the same as like the Harvard was here. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think you got a point there, but a lot of see, that's the interesting thing, is because when, like, this particular model kit, I could see the company releasing dozens of times under different guises, you know, and they use the same mold to put out a different product.
Yeah, with few additions and different decals and stuff like that.
Right, right. But no one is to say that you can go on maybe Evil Bay and find the decals or the parts that you're looking for to modify the kit to.
And convert any one to a particular version. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. And the one person, hi Joe, Joe McCaslin showed up on the, and Don Gilchrist also showed up on the live chat. Thank you for joining in. They're all talking about rivets, rivet counters. Oh, rivet counters. And Don says he couldn't join us because his one of his kids are online right now. He can only do the live chat, and he can't join us on video. Okay. But Joe is another one of those who does a lot of research, because he does the cutaway of aircraft particularly, and I think he's a freaking genius. But he says, I had a talk chat with him maybe about a year ago, and he does a lot of research, and because quite frankly, the kits don't come with an interior. And if you're talking about a transport plane, what does it transport? What does the stuff that it's transporting look like? I mean, that's the kind of thing that he makes good on. And he from what I understand too, the cutaways is part of the mechanics too, as well.
Yeah.
So He's like he spent time looking for that elusive photo of that intricate detail that I do building the detail.
Yeah.
He's talking about it on a live chat about the level. He goes to a high level of detail.
Yeah,
I
if you're
think
looking for something that's missing and you look all over the place trying to find that one image that's got that piece that you're trying to verify. Does it really go here? You know it's
right.
around this area somewhere, but does it really go there? And you go through a whole slew of images to find out exactly, because you're not quite sure where, if you've got the piece, it's in the right spot.
Right. What do you think about all this, Bob, that we're discussing right now?
Oh, I do a lot of research on my on the builds. I was actually trying to pull some stuff up here while I was. Here we go. One that you can relate to, Jack.
The Spirit of St. Louis.
Yeah.
And the only reason I know that is because there was a decal in the kit that had that panel that high up and all that pipe. Boy, it's a wicker chair.
Yeah, and then there's a picture of the actual plane back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
It just references to look at. A close up of the engine.
Just as a side note, Joe McCaslin right now is working on a WW2 U.S. Sherman, scratch building most of the interior, and he's looking for specific parts and how they all work together. And that's is that the original one?
That's the real one, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
When it was down from the ceiling last summer.
Oh, I see. Yeah, because they rehabbed it. Yeah, they probably rehabbed it. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
An interesting plane. All engine and gas tank for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got about a dozen more pictures of that, but I do that all the time.
Mm-hmm. Well, it made a world tour after the flight, and it got all these stickers on its tours put on the side. I think that's how I built mine. I put those stickers on there.
The other way without those. But yeah, like
I just thought it lacked color. That's why I put them on. But
300 pictures of Corsairs because I built them all the time. And finding different things, and I even got electrical diagrams and stuff.
Well, when it comes to that Spirit of St. Louis, I have to say my research came after the fact, not after the building. I kind of built that right out of the box and went according to instructions. But I have to say I learned more about the aircraft as well as Charles Lindbergh and how the transatlantic feat came about and the like. So it was all a very interesting story, and I think like all these, particularly aircraft and cars, really lends itself to a lot of history and some really important history too. Because I'm sure engineers learned quite a bit from the Lindbergh flight to design airplanes and cockpits in a way that would be able to handle transatlantic as a regular thing. I mean, shoot, it used to be what 3 months by boat, and now it's going to be like a half a day by airplane. That's a pretty big feat. But there was always that channel on. I keep thinking about that channel on YouTube that built a scale model of the Titanic and sunk it.
Yeah.
Oh, big tragedy, but boy, does this spawn a lot of jokes. Anyway. Yeah, well, gee, we come to this point. Let's see what the chatters are doing. No, that's about it. Chatters they stopped at Joe talking about the W2 tank, and I wonder where Jay disappeared to, because he had something very interesting going on. Hardly really a model of anything, but it was something of interest.
It's of interesting. He just, I don't know what happened, or
He was working on a violin. That was pretty interesting. So, you chatters, start chatting. Give me some ideas to talk about here. I guess just because just so few had shown up. But I am going to screen share because, as I said earlier, is that I'd like to spend the next couple, maybe 3 weeks, gathering photos from our group builds. And we started with the Batman build this year, so I'm asking for Batman builds that you have completed, and post the pictures. And this particular build, all right. Oh shoot, I lost his name. Chuck Brooks and his Batman build.
that's nice.
Now, here we go with research, okay? Which Batman is this? I think this is the, shoot, Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton, because there's so many iterations of Batman, and I have to admit, I didn't even realize the costume had changed so much throughout the different movies. And the Christian Bale one is really fancy schmancy.
Yeah, every producer's got his own image of what he wants.
Okay, so I heard a chime. Yes, it is. Okay, Ken, I'm not sure what you're saying. Yes, it is too. That's what I don't catch that. But anyway, this is Mr. Brooks and his Batman build. And also, let's see, there was another person that posted on the Facebook community a Batman build. And let's see if I can get that queued up here. So community covers. Speed. Oh, heck. You know what, Jim? I got to say, I was trying to tear that page out of your book to be organized, and I don't think it's working out for me. I really don't think. I don't think it's working out for me. Oh, here it is. Community builds. It looks different. All right. 2017 Batman. Buck Moore. Oh, big fan. I'm a big fan of his on the Google Plus page. And let me share this. This is all. I can't Photoshop these. I like to be able to Photoshop them a little bit to make them a little more clean, but certainly, you know what I mean once I present this one. Maybe that was his intention. Yeah. And there's another reason why I like it. He's making good use of the shop card that I sent them. I mean, if you want a shop card, you can always contact me at Scratch and Jack Models at Google at gmail.com and send me your info, and I'll get one out in the mail for you. I still have some stamps I got to get rid of, so I can fire off a few of these. But anyway, this is his Batwing, and he's posted numerous ones. And this build also is, I have some affection for. He's lit the thing. He's put some lights in it. Look at that. Isn't that pretty?
That's nice.
And he got the stand, I think he posted it from HDX or HDX. I can't recall the gentleman's name. He's down in Texas. He was looking for a stand, and that's the stand that he found the most favorable. And I'm not sure what this little thing here is.
Oh, I think it's a switch. It's got an arming cover on it.
Oh, okay. On-off switch.
Yeah.
All right. So he's got LEDs hidden behind these clear parts, no doubt.
Yeah, see there, it's open.
Yeah.
It's got the arming cover open.
Ah, there it is. Yeah. There I could see it. Yeah. This is a really cool build. I'm glad he took a picture of both the cockpit lit up and not lit up, and we're able to capture the Batman figure inside of this. So yeah, I mean, I had a chance to get one of those kits. I was going to light it too, but that's why I was asking you guys yesterday about the Millennium Falcon, because I know it has headlights on the end of the mandibles, but I couldn't tell if it was on what side of the mandibles it was on.
Mm-hmm.
I think you guys said it was on the
inside.
Inside? Okay. Inside. So yeah. I don't know how I'm going to do that, but I tried looking for screenshots, and I recall seeing, I can picture it in my head, seeing that ship flying towards the camera, and it kind of like doing a roll.
Yeah.
I could picture the headlights because they're bright, but I could not tell you for the life of me. That's why I asked. Is it at the end of the mandibles on the right side or left side? Or in the inside or the outside? So
yeah.
It told me on the inside, which is going to be very interesting. It's going to pose certainly an interesting problem.
Or not when they're inside the asteroid. And the Empire Strikes Back when they're walking around in the Hinox are flying around.
Yeah.
I don't remember if you see the flight or not. I'll have to look at what DVD and later look at it.
Well, again, we'd have to do the research. And certainly now that the little dish is gone from round to rectangular, I believe, we know from which era the Falcon is from. So that's, I mean, hey, I asked my friends on on the communities. That's my little extent of research. So here, well, yeah, well, certainly. I'm trying to get this queued up here. Our man Heath. I wonder where Heath is. He usually shows up because it's Monday morning for him. It's not like he has to be anywhere.
And we get Frankie Day on here one night. He's proper knowledge.
Yeah, well, what's your story? You usually work Sunday night.
They gave me an offer. I didn't question it. I just. Out there, don't ask, don't tell.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, yeah, you're right. When in the business you're in, I felt the same way too. When something happens, you don't ask why. You just go along with it, particularly if it's to your advantage.
Yeah.
All right. Somehow
it's go to the manager and say, "Why did you give me Sunday off?" Like.
All right. Yeah. Geek Squad is still waiting for another technician because the technician I'm with apparently had stopped servicing requests. Please wait, and it says waiting for a technician. So this is going to be interesting as to how the Geek Squad is going to work. You know what? I'm going to write that down too. So because after this is all done, I write a little description of what is inside what's contained herein on the episodes, because I never know what we're going to talk about until the showtime.
Yeah.
Okay, just wrote that down because
flying by the seat of our pants. Yeah.
Well, tonight we certainly are. Tonight we're certainly out, but we never really had a problem in filling. Batman. Here we go. So now, yeah, I think something's happening here. This is Heath's. Excuse me. Screen share. This is his Batmobile. I think he's got a dismembered Batmobile.
Yeah.
Nice flat black.
See, that's one he's working on.
Ooh, he even put it on a little
frame.
diorama.
Yeah.
Look at that. Yeah, you know what? This is interesting because you can always like at Home Depot, and it's like the weirdest thing to have in Home Depot. They have like these acrylic paints. In fact, I bought some from Home Depot to do the water effects on this diorama that I never finished of the bird of prey over the whales or the whaling trawler. And they have like these acrylic paints, and they've got these like, oh, I don't know, these crates that you can decorate and stencils and the like. And they got these little chalkboards. In fact, my motorcycle diorama is on it. Here, let me pop back over and I'll show you. Because this is exactly what they have. Of course, it's probably dusty as all get-go. This is one of those little chalkboards. And my little workbench is tipped over. Oh, it's broken. I gotta fix it. But this is a chalkboard. That's gonna lay it back down. And I actually painted the black chalkboard black, so it gives it a semi-gloss and not a flat like the chalkboard is. And I painted the frame. This is just like $1 or $2, not even. And I have my Ducati under repair on there. Yeah, the reason I came up with this is diorama. I couldn't imagine putting the sides on it and hide all that intricate work that I did.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, I just dropped it. Oops. All right, another casualty, another thing to fix. All right, anyway. Shit, that's embarrassing. Anyway, that's what he did here. It looks like what he did. Okay, back to the screen share. I seem safer that way. Yeah, I'm falling apart here. He's got some texture on there. Nice. You know what? I think in many ways, Heath is an underrated modeler. He's a lot better than he makes himself to look. He's good. Oh, look at that panel.
Looks like it's lit up.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Oh, nice. Yeah, I gotta copy these down too. And this is on the Google Plus page. So they're starting to flow in. I'm kind of happy about that. Because my mistake. I hadn't really followed the posts as they were coming up originally because we really didn't put a deadline on the Batman build particularly, and so they kind of trickled in and got by me. So that's why I'm asking for y'all to post. HDA George says Jerry. Yes, that's his name. George. His name is Jerry.
HDA Model Works, yeah.
What's that?
HDA Model Works.
Yeah.
That's where I get all my LEDs from.
Oh, is that where you get them from? Yep. I did check out his LEDs. Maybe about a week or two ago. I did go to his page just out of curiosity. He's got a pretty extensive page.
Yeah, he's got quite the selection. And he's getting into the photo etch and some of the other stuff too coming up.
So it's HDA.
HDA Model Works.
HDA Model Works, yeah.
I think he spells it with an X, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So this is why I got to get my Computer Geek, because it's actually very slow.
Mine's running slow tonight too.
Yeah, and still waiting for a technician. I think this is going to be an all-night affair, which I'm certainly not going to be looking forward to.
I think I've got an update loading in the background somewhere. That
All right. Let's see. His page is starting to come up. Surprised.
there, diorama base. It's an 8.5 by 11 picture frame, and I just printed the runway base on it.
That's fine.
Yeah, that's good. Actually,
I just printed that in the printer, and that's just a picture frame.
Yeah.
8.5 by 11 picture frame.
mm-hmm.
One of the dollar store ones. And
Courtesy China via Walmart, no doubt.
Yeah. The other thing I like for bases too are the wooden paint palettes, because you can get them in thick and thin, and they're great. Make great bases work from.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is what HGA Model Works looks like. Oh, look at that photo etch. She's
Blinking SMDs. Oh, he's got the micro SMDs. Yeah.
it's got the micro SMD.
getting correction parts for like the 250 or 350 Enterprise, and got LEDs that blink at different rates and all the different colors. And
He's making it. No, this is paragraphics that he has here. I thought he was making his own here.
he's getting ready to.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's moving in that direction. And then if you want like a special designer base for a model, he'll screen print the background and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Here's something interesting. An Arboretum photo etch and detail set. This is probably for, the 350 Enterprise refit. Arboretum as basically for all you non-Star Trek folks. There's actually a greenhouse within the belly of the ship that has always been a challenge for sci-fi modelers to make look right. And I don't know. It's behind glass. I mean, you'll be able to look in, but you'll be given a very limited view. But from what I've seen guys do an extraordinarily detailed job in creating something. Like the hangar deck is something that's difficult to behold too. It's actually quite extensive.
Yeah.
And you do all this work and then you hide it inside the model. Just several months ago on a Hangout, I just got flipped out that, you can put cameras inside your models. You can actually, do that and get a camera feed and you can see the inside of the model. I'm like, well, that sounds like an idea. And I should have known, because up to this point I watch Flight Test. It's a RC, basically pretty much a do-it-yourself RC channel on YouTube, and they do a lot of camera work on quadcopters and the like, because when they have a plane flying, they usually have a quadcopter following it around with a camera, and their video quality is actually quite beautiful. And when you see the quadcopter with these little cameras on them, they're like nothing. And you could find out as to how all this works on YouTube, because then I did the research, and sure enough, it's possible to build a model with an elaborate interior and put in cameras inside. And soon enough, we're going to make tiny little robots and make them walk around like people, and they'll be at work and whatever. So yeah. He does a lot. I see he does a lot of tenant controls, a lot of Ralph Tenaglia stuff. 12-volt LEDs. Yeah, those aren't easy to find on the internet. 12 volts, so you won't have to put resistors to them. They're already pre-resisted. So, yep. So there you have it. There's a sample of the front page of HDA ModelWorks. So maybe we did come up with a website. I think he has a channel too, does he not?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, occasionally you have something up. Yeah.
Yeah.
When he
so,
gets a new product, like a new flashes a different rate or does a different effect, or he gets one new color, he'll put a video up of that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So maybe I'll look it up. It'll take a moment. In the meantime, I'm going to go share other things. Yesterday on the Across the Pond, I had shared the community covers that are currently on both the Google Plus page and on the Facebook page, and they are Halloween themed. And on the Facebook page, I'm going to change that out every 2 days throughout the coming week of Halloween. And some people have posted some really cool stuff. Currently on the page, we have a diorama of the Munsters Laboratory. And on the Google Plus page, we have a depiction. What is it called? What did he call it? Lee Chambers. Harbinger of Death.
Yeah.
More like the Grim Reaper. It's a Grim Reaper character on horseback.
Yeah, figurine. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd go over there and check it out, and that's actually pretty good. Yesterday too, I had mentioned this because I was having issues with the engine burners on the 72 scale Millennium Falcon, and somebody on Facebook turned me onto this outfit called Shapeways.com. I had come across them on YouTube, and they basically on the YouTube channel were. I come across them when I was learning 3D drafting. So here we see the page on the Google Plus community, and Leo Lapiri had shared something from Shapeways, a 3D printed part, Revell U-wing exterior detail set, and he says it's going to ship on Monday. And I just oddly enough, I mentioned it yesterday, and this got posted, I think, 3 days ago. So, yeah, Shapeways.com is an interesting site if you're looking for aftermarket parts. You got all kinds of makers doing 3D renderings of things, and they'll print them for you. And pricing is not too bad, really. Not really. I mean, they can charge hundreds upon hundreds of dollars for some things, but they don't. I think they're pretty reasonable. I feel the parts that I'm getting, the engine burners for the 72 scale Millennium Falcon, 13 segments with shipping is like $36. And they 3D print them for you. I haven't gotten them yet, but once I get them, I am going to, of course, share that knowledge with you and give you my feedback. Mr. Lapiri here didn't give a review because he says that it's due on Monday, to get it on Monday, which I'm expecting too. He also bought the 3D printed part for the guns on the 72 scale Millennium Falcon, the 4-barreled gun on the top side and bottom side of the craft. So yeah, I mean, I didn't know they existed because they're YouTube channel that I come across when I was doing research on what 3D drafting software there's out there. I turned it on the other day, Jim, the one that I have on my computer,
Yeah.
and it's not working right. I think there was a date on it that expired. So I went to Autodesk,
Yeah.
and they now want you to pay for it. They don't have any free editions.
Oh, for the which is 360?
Yeah. Well, not Fusion 360. I'm talking about the one I use, which was what? Design
Oh,
123?
Design 123. I thought Design 123 was free. I wasn't aware of any. There's a subscription. You can subscription if it's a professional use, but for hobby use, it's supposedly free.
Well, let's just go look. Maybe I was just not finding it. Because when I brought it up, it was coming up as a wireframe
Yeah.
and not looking like a solid, just looking like a wireframe. And I didn't know what it was. And then some little pop up came up saying that the version I had was outdated. All right, so this is Autodesk.
Yeah. Mine came up okay, and I haven't used it in a couple months. Mine came up okay.
All right. Well, I did bring up the page. Autodesk also makes Fusion 360. Their Design 123s are more basic, from what you're saying. They're more basic.
Yeah.
So let's peruse about, see free trials, all products. Let's go to all products. All right. Look at this, AutoCAD Civil 3D, Fusion 360, Maya for like character animation.
Yeah.
See, Design 123 is not in here.
Put in search.
Autodesk 123 Design is not available in the US App Store. I don't know where this is coming from. Okay, 123 D Design has stopped working. Error launched. Okay, this is something. Take a look at. Oh, it says to delete it and then reload it to reinstall it. That's what it's saying here.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, this is interesting. So, well, I'm not going to do that now. But at least we found an answer. So you're saying yours is working.
Mine's working fine.
Well, mine opens up too, but when I try to draw something on it and extrude it, for an example,
Yeah.
3D image, it comes up a wireframe. And then I kind of putz with the icons, and then it comes up that it's outdated. So I guess yeah, you'll have to delete the files and reload it.
Yeah.
If I could find those files, if I'm not clever, which I can't say that I am, but I'll see. That'll be a good thing to do during the week.
Yeah, when you got a couple hours to spare.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I show something too about my build, but I haven't done anything. I don't want to show you the cockpit. I want that to be shown sometime other time.
Okay.
But I got that done. But I did share what I did do last week at the stand. I was just thinking about the stand itself today. I have a length of copper pipe, and I probably, if I were to look, I probably have pipe fittings.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking about doing sort of like a X configuration out of copper pipe, or a Y configuration, sort of like what a tripod would be, and then attach put the tubes on through it in the bottom, and just do it that way. Because I don't know. I've come up with some videos on YouTube and how to build stands and stuff, and I would encourage people to check it out, because there's a lot of makers out there and builders who are good with woodwork that show you basic display case type of thing that you could make for your builds. But I don't feel confident in doing them. I wonder, anybody out there would know that would have any source of, who does those things, who just does stands. All right, I'm asking HDA, Jerry, I think, with an X.
Yeah. I think HDA makes bases.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Well, that's where that Batman. Yeah, that's where. Oh shoot, Mr. Brooks was saying that. Not Mr. Brooks. Somebody at the Batwing. I just showed right now. So that might be VA. They got that from HDA. All right. Fair enough. What's what else is on the communities? That's over at Facebook. I haven't talked too much about Facebook. Yes. Yeah, this I just happened. I don't know why this is up on my screen, but I'll share it. This is the community cover for. This is Derek.
The Munster Lab build, yeah.
Yeah, and some Lou said something about the cobwebbing. It's like, oh, you did a really good job in a cobwebbing underneath the table here. But yeah, I just can't stop looking at this only because it has LEDs in it. Very bright, flashy things. I'm just sort of like that bird, that crow that collects gum wrappers. You remember the foil gum used to come in? I don't think that's the foil anymore. Anyway, that's me.
That was in Wrigley's gum, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Looks like I have to reload Facebook. That's why I have to do my geeking, get my computer geekified because of what I'm doing right now. Da, da, da. I can hear Alex Trebek right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there was a couple of car builds I wanted to show off. Some of these are like really, really fascinating. They're really good. Boy, you guys are setting the bar too high for me. I'm getting, what's that phobia of high places? Agoraphobia, I think. I don't know. That's open spaces. Good. Okay. Now here I am, right where I'm supposed to be. Oh yes, Heath also posted some pictures of his General Lee
Mm-hmm.
on Facebook. I gotta say, he did make mention of painting the seat belts, and he did. Okay. Oh yes, Kenny May. Yeah, I do remember Kenny May having had. See, here's another one I got to download, and I didn't realize everybody's going to respond so quickly to the Batman request. So I'll share this. This is this is Batman going on holiday.
Get the bat boat with the.
Come on, really? He's gone the way of the suburbanites? Come on. Actually, I find it amusing. I don't know why. Is it really this is the way it happened? He's got a hitch on that thing. Wouldn't the hitch be in the way of his like rocket burners?
Of his turbo injector? Yeah, you would think so.
But this is a nice boat. Look at that. That's beautiful. Yeah. Well, good job, Kenny. Yeah. Batman going on holiday.
The Batboat from the '66 movie, yeah.
Oh, was that in the movie?
Yep, that's the boat from the movie.
Okay. I can't say I've ever seen it.
You've never seen the Batman movie?
I've heard of it, but no.
Oh my, oh my.
No, I haven't. Well, what kind
You
of
have to
self-respecting nerd am I? Exactly. Did that come out after the TV show or before?
It came out after the first season.
Okay. And this is Bobby Wilkinson and a looks like a Plymouth to me. This is the one that I reacted so, wow, this is really cool. Is it a Plymouth? No, it's a
I think it's a Chev.
It's a Chevy. Oh, she's pretty. Good job on that too, Tom. It's actually, what's that?
55 Chevy, I believe what it is.
Yeah.
You've done a 2-ton like this, Bob.
Yep. Yep.
Wow.
The masking.
Yeah, that's so you basically paint it in one color and then you mask it off and then do another paint on it.
Make a light color first, and then you
Yeah.
You always do your light, and you do your light color first.
right. So like
Yeah, it's easier to color over a light color with a darker color than it is putting a light color over top of a darker color.
When I did the only 2-ton I did was that jalopy thing. I did that, but I didn't paint the whole thing that brown. I just concentrating painting the areas that I was going to keep brown. The other areas I didn't even bother with because the rest of it was black. Black is saturates pretty well. So you'd have to be cautious with that though, because like that red and orange that he used, you probably want the whole thing gray first, because the red is a pretty translucent color. It won't come out even if you don't do the whole model that way. Is my reasoning behind it. Am I thinking that right? You couldn't just pick and choose the top and the back end to do gray and not really concentrate on the rest. You'd have to do everything evenly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I generally spray the whole model light color with the dark.
Mm-hmm.
That was, the GTX I did it actually. The stripe on the hood and then put the purple candy over the top of it because I knew it would stay. It would show through.
Mm-hmm. All right, what are you chatters doing over there? It's a little quiet over there. Glad to hear you found a picture of mishap. What mishap? Looks like Don got fingerprints. You can make a base for the Falcon in the shape of a Star Destroyer. Yeah, George, I guess I could. That would be interesting. In fact, Randall is making the 1/44 scale Falcon, and he's going to hang it on the wall as a picture. The base of it is going to be the Star Destroyer that attached itself to.
Yeah, the raised pod on the Star Destroyer. Yeah.
Anxiety Mal Brooks, beautiful paint job. Can't believe you haven't watched the Batman movie. I know, Don. I'm sorry. Gosh, I'm getting it from him too, Bob.
It's iconic. You have 4 supervillains on all at once. That's where you see the Batcopter, the Bat boat,
Mm-hmm.
the Bat cycles in that one. It's all there.
Oh yeah, it's all
the
there.
Bat cycle separates that little Robin go-kart.
So basically, they had George Harris very busy, and they just wrote a script around all of them.
Yeah.
Which leaves it open to a lot of cheesiness. Yeah. Well, then again, we are talking about Batman in his 60s. No, I can't say I ever had. I knew one existed, but I can't say I ever had. Well, maybe that's something to look up.
There's that 2-tone paint job I did.
Nice.
Oh, yes.
That's actually the same color as the GTO. I'm using the same paint. That's what color the GTO is. It's blue.
Uh-huh.
Hey, just mask off for the not real tough.
There is a YouTube channel that somebody posted on the Google Plus community. Jim and I had talked extensively about this guy, Paul
Butzik?
Budzik, yeah. Let's go to his home. Is this going to be his home? Yes, this is his home. Screen share it. A lot of, when it comes to modeling, he does do a lot of interesting things, really sophisticated stuff. Scale modeling outside the box. So he has 2 months ago. He's not a very regular poster. He does spend a lot of time in between posts. And he did a big series on photography. Look at that vacuum forming. I mean, he does post, but he's not. He does maybe 2 or 3 a year. But certainly, some of his videos are well worth a look at. So that's Paul Budzik. Scale modeling outside the box. All right. You know what, guys? I think, let's see. What are the chatters doing?
I don't think much lately.
Not to kick at Jack when he's down, but even I have seen the Batman movie. Thanks, Joe.
Joe Kavs, yeah.
Yeah, Joe, you won't pass Joe off as a nerd type of that stripe, but, well, thanks. Yeah. Thanks for the review. Yeah, Paul's videos are very interesting. They are. He gets very well immersed in them, and his diction and his explanation is very thorough. I got to say that he's very thorough as a video presenter. So he does have some interesting things. The one thing that I did see that he was accurizing, I think it was the Bismarck. The model kit had this lip from the top deck to the top part of the hull, and it was too wide. And he was showing how to make it narrower by using dental acrylic. And quite frankly, it was stroke of genius on how he did it. And dental acrylic, and I'll tell you from experience, is tough material to get through. It bonds styrene really well, or bonds to styrene really well. All right, so Jay never came back.
No.
His loss. His loss. And I'd like to thank everyone who had joined and participates in the Google Plus and the Facebook communities. Amazing Scale Modelers is at least 5,000 strong, always doing something, always posting. And all of you guys who view or watch these videos and hang out on the Ellen's, I can't use it, but Ellen says the riffraff room. We could say that about the live chat, the riffraff room. It's all the riffraff show up, but certainly that is an affection to you all because you guys are a lot of fun. Like George, Donna showed up. Joe is always talking about something new and interesting. Same with Ken Skiffington. And Frankie had shown up from Frankie Day Models, as well as Gearhead Workshop showed up to talk, and even Mark Dunmore. He's also a good chatter too. So yeah, if you can't really join us on the Hangout, there's always that. Always get in touch with us all and ask questions, and we will certainly be happy to answer them. And of course, in 2 weeks, we'll have the Across the Pond on a Saturday, and on the following Sunday, we'll have the Sunday Hangout again. And it's a time for us to get together and hang out. I am so happy Bob showed up, that he spent his accidental day off with us. Thanks, Bob.
You're welcome.
Nothing. He is a man of few words, I swear. Oh, okay. I just wanted to thank you for stopping by and spending your accidental day off with us. And yeah, you shared. Always what you share is quite interesting and thoughtful, and also informative. And same with you, Jim.
Oh, thank you.
And I said earlier when you first started, it looked like a paper towel roll, but it looks much better now. It looks more like a rocket. In other words, it looks more like a rocket. And see, here's the Batman movie. Look at him. There's the Batman movie.
Yeah.
Oh, gee. Wham! Now it's all over cinema screen in color with the U. Lee Merriweather, Cesar Romero, Burgess Meredith, Frank Gorshwin. Oh, gee. Okay.
That's the thing.
There's the Batman.
You have to get a
post that on the communities. I don't know. It would be a fun thing to post. I'm sure you get a lot of comments on it. What's that?
Post that you've never seen the Batman movie?
Well, yeah, you can post it that way. Sure. You'll get comments.
Around to find the disc. I don't know where it's at right now.
Well, no, not the movie. I mean the movie poster.
Oh, the movie poster.
Yeah, what you just showed. And say, ask, have y'all seen this?
Years ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, I haven't.
Well, everybody except you.
The whole planet has, except for me. Apparently.
One person has never seen Rocky. It's like, how did you get through life never seeing Rocky?
Well, that's understandable. I mean, there are some movies that aren't inexcusable, and you're making it sound like the Batman movie is like inexcusable. You have to see it. Have to have seen it, no matter who you are. Well, especially if you're a self-proclaimed nerd.
Yeah. It's a.
I said I'm a nerd, but not a good one. And all of you viewers who watch every other weekend and every other week out, thank you for joining us too. Like, subscribe, ask questions, make comments on the YouTube channel. They're all welcome. And also join the community if this is the first time you're with us at Amazing Scale Modelers on Facebook as well as Google+. And if you are even mildly interested in scale modeling as a hobby, to either provide reference material, which we talked about today, doing your research, as well as maybe perhaps put some glue on plastic and inhale those fumes and all that stuff. Sure, go right ahead and join us in the community. Look at that, I got paint on me. And I didn't even do any modeling. I don't know how that happened. Anyway, thanks for joining us, and see you in 2 weeks. Happy modeling, everyone. Good night.
Good night.